God doesn't necessarily call the prepared, but He'll prepare those that He calls. A little bit about myself. I grew up a numbers guy. Math made a lot of sense to me. So you give me rows and columns. I love Excel. And I'm right where I need to be. I'm right at home, right? So when I decided to get a college education, I ended up getting a degree in petroleum engineering. And I've spent the last 31 years in the oil and gas business. So I thought that was my calling. But little did I know, about 5 years ago, I decided I needed to read the Bible from cover to cover. I think God may have told me that, I'm not really sure, but I did it. It took me a couple of years. And when I finished reading the Bible, from the very first word in Genesis to the very last word in Revelation, sometime within a week or two, I was given a story. So those of you that enjoy the book, God gave me that story. I would have never have been able to come up with that on my own. I'm a columns and rows guy, right? So what I would like to share with you tonight is just a couple of things. First of all, I don't want Bill to outdo me, so Juanita, you're the love of my life. Without all your help over the last 5 years, this would have never happened. And we've actually got a second book out that you guys need to get your hands on. But what I would like to do is, first of all, thank everyone in the room who has read my book. I'm not sure there's ever been a higher concentration of book readers of my books than we have in this room right now. And second of all, I'm just going to share something real quick. I call it a Moses thing. So if you guys know anything about Moses, when Moses was out in the desert after he had left and fled from Egypt, after growing up in the Pharaoh's palace, he saw a burning bush. And when he approached the burning bush, God spoke to the man. And God spoke to Moses, and He told him that you're going to lead my people out of slavery and into the promised land. And then Moses repeatedly came up with excuses to God as to why he couldn't do it. One, I grew up in the Pharaoh's palace. How can I go and lead the Israeli people who have been prisoners for 400 years? They barely know me. And God said, because I asked you to. And He said, I'm not a good speaker. I can't get up in front of people and speak. And God said, we'll use Aaron. And Moses said, why will they believe that you talk to me? And I think at that point God was completely fed up and said, just do it. Just go and do it. So I'm not comparing myself to Moses and his significance in God's growth and glory on earth, but I had a similar instance in 2010 after I finished the Bible, and God gave me that story, and my wife came home from a trip, and I said, I have to write a book. I don't know how to write a book. I don't know why I'm supposed to write a book. I don't even know if anybody would publish this book. And I just did it. After I told God, I think I wrote down some reasons that I told God. One, I went to school to be an engineer, God, not an author. Two, and this was 5 years ago, God, I'm 50 years old. I'm too old. You need to pick a younger person to do it. I was doing the Moses thing, right? I said, God, I need time. I need money. I have a full-time job. And then I realized that it was about God's glory, not about me and my time. So I honored Him, and now I feel like He's beginning to honor me. How many people in the room have read the first book? See, we got 7 or 8 people, and what we want to do is give each one of you guys a copy. And really, if you're a couple, both of you take one, so you can keep one for the house and you can give one to somebody else. Because the book is more about spreading the word than anything else. And the story in the first book is that all of us that are in these societies, like in America or in Australia or in the UK, where it's comfortable and life is relatively easy unless you've had 2 feet of rain in the last 2 weeks. It's real easy for us to think if we're good people and if we don't break the law and if we teach our kids right from wrong and make sure they go to college, that we're going to heaven. And I'm here to tell you that if you don't have a relationship with Jesus, the Christ, you need to read that book and reevaluate where you're at. Or maybe you have a friend who thinks they're going to heaven because they're good. Living a good life. I know God. It's about Jesus. So we made a company to publish the book, and it's called The Jesus Solution. So I hope you read it. I think you'll enjoy it. And please, if you enjoy it, more reviews on Amazon will cause more people to read it, and they can get touched as well. Thank you very much.